What's up, everyone? Good morning. Good morning. I hope everyone has been doing fantastic. It's your girl, The Reckoning. I'm here. I've been in the bushes for the last, I don't know, I think it's been like 3 months or something like that since I was last live. But I have been lurking. I've been here. I have just been extremely, extremely busy, y'all. So yeah, I just felt the need to come up here and say a few things. But before we get into that, listen, your girl has been busy. Busy is an understatement. When you are trying to get those two coveted letters in front of your name, school is no joke. Let's just say that. And for those that know, the two letters that I'm talking about, if you know, you know. Right? We talking about that D and that R. Okay. And it is again, it is not for the faint of heart. Going through a research program with your PhD, it is just it is exhausting. So, needless to say, I'm pretty inconsistent on here anyway, but that has been the one of the main reasons why I have been inconsistent. Trying to do all of that amongst other things, guys. Just raising my kiddo, giving her the best life possible, being a good wife, all that stuff. All that stuff is just, it's all of it together. It's a blessing. It's a pleasure. It's a joy. You know what I mean? Um, to have my life together enough to be able to take a pause on, work and pursue my PhD. Really, it's a blessing, but it is tiring. It is tiring for sure. And we have a whole bunch of trips planned too coming up in the next week, as well as 2025. 2025, yeah, booked and busy. Booked and busy in real life. But I figure, I have a few things I have to say based on what's been going on in this crazy ass mommy sector. And it's going to be geared toward all of them, right? Sky, Jazzy, Peach, Chrissy, all of them, okay? The whole conglomerate. So I thought, you know what? I actually have a free moment this morning. So let me hop on here and say a few things. And honestly, I know I'm one of the smaller, teeny tiny, less known, or unknown reactors, if that's what you want to call it. I really don't consider myself a reactor. I mean, every now and again, I'll get on here and do my one too, but shouts out to all the other reactors that have been keeping me updated and entertained throughout my time in this PhD program. Shout out to all of y'all. Y'all know who y'all are. I actually made a community post not too long ago. I want to say it was last night. Just a little fun challenge, right? Bouncing off of Lipstick Pimp with her silly behind. I love her. Bouncing off of her, piggybacking off what she was saying about how Chrissy never takes her kids anywhere. So I made a community post, tagged a few folks on it. Like, listen, let's do a picture challenge. You don't have to post pictures of your kids, but any picture that makes you not easily identifiable of you on vacation with your kids. Let's not even just Chrissy. Let's motivate all these mommies to do better, do right by your fucking kids. Y'all broke asses need to take y'all kids somewhere. But that's another story. I'm gonna do another video, another live on why it's important to expose your children at early ages throughout their childhood and take them places. I am a strong believer in taking your kids places because I do believe that travel is one of the best ways for kids to learn. It's one thing for them to read about certain countries, about certain cultures and customs, in school and in class and in books and all that type of stuff. But it's a whole nother to be able to go there or, places similar to it and really be able to see it, feel it, touch it, smell it, taste it, right, through the food. Which is why my daughter, she travels so much. We travel a lot as a family. And I know that's a flex, but even outside of flexing, I really do try to always encourage other people in my real life. And I might shift, start doing more content once I finish up with this program, um, about, travel and, what that could look like for families, because it's important. It's important. But anywho, switching gears, I just want to come up here and talk about the importance of not just shame, but judgment, y'all. Judgment. And unpopular opinion, maybe, maybe not. But I do not believe in the whole, oh, I'm not judging you. I'm not judging. And the reason I don't believe that, well, first of all, the reason I'm talking about it is because I feel that the lack of judgment is a direct correlation with the lack of shame. Let's just keep it above, right? We always say, oh, bring shame back, bring shame back. Okay, well, you can't say bring shame back, but also talking about we listen and we don't judge. Or also talking about, oh, I know I'm about to say something crazy, but don't judge me. And we go, oh, we're not judging. No, 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 no. Absolutely not. Shame and judgment are in the same neighborhood. And I feel like a lack of judgment is the reason why there is no shame. Period, point blank. When you look at these women in this sector who should be ashamed of themselves for the way that they conduct their lives, we're talking about women who have multiples upon multiples of children, right? These children, these are souls. These women are responsible for multiple souls, yet they're unable to keep stable housing over their heads. So they're unable to feed these kids, if not for government. I mean, it's really a sad thing to see. And I feel like overall, right, just as a community, and when I say community, I mean Black community. Now, yes, I know that there are white people on welfare. I know that there's various other ethnicities and races that, utilize the welfare system. But I'm a Black woman, so I am talking to us. Okay? That's not lost on me, but I'm talking to us. Um, I feel like we have, at least these women in this sector, you lose your dignity when you stop judging. Now, in some cases, is being judgmental good? Of course not. Of course not. Being judgmental, having a judgmental personality overall is not a good thing. But judgment in and of itself, y'all, is nothing wrong with that, right? That's the reason, again, these women don't have shame, but that's another reason why they have so many supporters and fans who enable their bullshit, is because of a lack of judgment. Like, to me, I feel like making foolish choices and decisions and telling someone not to judge you is extremely immature. That's just me. I think it's extremely immature to expect someone not to judge you, especially when you've made poor choices. It's immature because judgment is important. You use judgment. First of all, judgment, that's how you get discernment, right? That's how you get good discernment. Judgment helps you understand why a situation may not be a good situation. Judgment helps you understand, I could do that, but should I do it? Judgment says, okay, you know what? I did this one time. Maybe I shouldn't do it again. That's judgment. So we can sit up here all day long and act like, oh, judgment is just this horrible thing at all times, but really it's not. It's what really helps you shape who you are as a person, and it helps you understand why that may not be a good idea. So when we get rid of stuff like that, right? When we say, no judgment, or, I've slept with over however many men, or I love dick, or whatever it is that Chrissy and all of them be talking about. But don't judge me, y'all. No, immature. Immediately no. It's immature, because why wouldn't I judge you? You just sat here and you just told me that you have yet another man in the house with all of your kids. You just sat here and you just told me that you're getting evicted again. You just sat here and you just told me that you need a registry because you can't afford certain things for your children. And this is something that you're doing continuously every year, multiple times of the year. And you don't want to be judged. Excuse me? I beg your pardon. So y'all see how crazy that sounds when you put it in mommy sector context? It sounds crazy and it sounds immature. No, I'm judging you. I'm 100% going to judge you. Why? Because the more people that judge you start to get a feel for it and understand, oh, maybe this shit looks crazy. Maybe maybe this actually looks crazy. Maybe this sounds crazy. Maybe this is not good for my kids. But again, understanding and accepting judgment for what it is instead of taking it as a criticism is a life skill. And it's something that you must learn and that has to be ingrained and instilled from you at an early age. Really and truly. And that's what all of these women are missing. None of these women, clearly, none of them had anybody in their life to say, oh, yeah, nah, that's not what's up. None of these women had anyone to say, you know what? You already have this X amount of kids. You probably shouldn't do that. Or maybe they did, right? If they're anything like Chrissy, they're probably just narcissistic, right? No matter how much you judge a narcissist is never going to think that they're wrong. That's first and foremost, right? Narcissists, even if you judge them 100 ways, they're gonna say that it's a you problem, and that you have the issue and they don't. So really, I guess that can be negated in some ways because for some of them it just really doesn't even matter, right? But we have to understand that again, without judgment, there is no shame. We could say bring back shame, but you have to be on board with also judging people. Some of these people need their asses judged from here to the pearly gates. Okay? It is ridiculous. I have never seen this amount of dysfunction. And while it's entertaining, don't get me wrong, it's entertaining. It's also sad when you really sit down and you sit back and you think about all the children that are involved and all the foolishness, right? Happy Friday. I love the early morning live. Thank you, Keely. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining me. No, I'm just up here ranting though. I'm really just up here. We're talking about the importance of judgment. Why is judgment so important? When you don't have judgment, you have poor decision making. When you have poor decision making without judgment, you have no shame. Listen, I'm going to tell y'all a story. I can remember, I want to say, we'll say about 12, 13 years ago, right? When I was in my early 20s. And I can remember I had a credit card like many of us do, right? And what do we do when we get the credit card? We get the credit card and we take it and we run with it, right? We use it up like it's our money. Now, we know it's not our money. We know we're going to have to pay it back, but in that moment, right? Your endorphins are released, you're shopping, you're like, yeah, because in your head, you're like, okay, I have $2,000 on this card. I'm gonna go over here and spend 100 here and 100 there. It ain't too bad. I don't have to pay it back anyway for a whole nother month. And then what happens, right? Next thing you know, you have a higher interest. Now you done max the damn card out. And now your payment is not $50 a month. It's now, I don't know, $300, $400 a month. And before you know it, you can't keep up. And guess what? You're behind, right? And what happens? Yes, and you as well. Thank you, love. Thank you. Thank you. And so what happens, guys, when you have any bill, right? But specifically in this scenario, when you have a credit card bill and you don't pay it for a certain amount of time, what happens? It goes into collections, right? So I'll never forget that first time that I had a card go into collections. When I tell y'all, I lost my mind. Like, I lost my cool so bad when I got that letter that said your account has been purchased by, I can't remember the name right in this moment of the collections agency. But I can remember I freaked out because they sent it to me on like a yellow piece of paper and everything. It wasn't even a white sheet of paper, it was yellow. So it was like even more alarming. I can remember I got on the phone with my mom and I freaked out. I'm like, oh my gosh, these people, like I'm in collections. Oh my gosh, it's on my credit. And I freaked out. And that really, 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 like, it's as small as that sounds and as silly as it sounds, that one incident really just set me straight, because I'm like, okay, I don't like the feeling of owing people, but I certainly don't like the feeling of owing people. And I owe them so bad to the point where they told other people, and now the other people are on my top. I mean, that collection agency was calling me every day. They were running me down. Okay. Um, and my daughter was like a infant at the time. She was a little baby. But even then I felt so crazy. Like, it just felt crazy, because and I felt like I wasn't on my shit. Really that's what the feeling was. I felt like, how can I have a baby and I can't even pay this credit card bill? That's how I felt. But again, I was also raised with a loving mother, don't get me wrong, a loving mother, an understanding mother, but she instilled a certain level of judgment and shame in me. Like, she would tell me things. If I would do something wrong, my mom was not like, oh, well, that's okay. They're just jealous of you. No, if I was wrong, my mom would tell me, you're wrong. This doesn't look right on you. You need to fix it and you need to get right. That's how I was raised. And at the time, I hated it. But now, as a fully grown woman with a preteen daughter that is in her mid 30s, well, I'm in my mid 30s. I have a preteen daughter. But now that I'm grown, have a preteen daughter, I'm in my mid 30s, I appreciate my mom so much more for being like that with me. Because when I look at these other women my age, like, I think Chrissy and I are the same age. When I look at women my age, like Chrissy, when I look up, when I look at Jasmine, when all those women are around my age bracket, and I see the all right, y'all. All right, can y'all hear me? Okay, y'all can hear me. Okay, good. My bad, y'all. That was my daughter calling me. She has pajama day at school. Of course, today's her last day of school. They're out for the Christmas break after this, but calling me all upset. I can't find this shirt to go with my pajama pants. Y'all know how that is. These kids, woo, everything is an emergency. But yeah, like I was saying, um, yeah, so being raised in a certain way where you were loved, you were supported, you were very well taken care of, but you were also raised again with that judgment and that shame, it makes you look at these other women and go, oh my God. Like, I used to get so upset with my mom about that. And now, like I said, I look at Chrissy, Jazz, Peach, I look at all of them and I'm like, praise God that I had the upbringing that I had, because a lot of y'all clearly were not raised on any kind of true love, because I feel like, excuse me, y'all, I'm sipping on my ice white mocha. I feel like when you're raised with that, very true discernment. Yes, Keely. When you're raised a certain kind of way, your discernment is always going to be top tier. And your discernment is top tier because you know that judgment is there. The judgment is there. When the judgment is there, the shame is there. And so I say all that to say, you know, because my mom raised me that way, that's why I had so much shame in that credit card situation when they sent me to collection. I just had so much shame because I'm like, this shouldn't be this way. Like, I should have been more responsible to pay the bill and not run it up, you know. And again, even though my daughter was an infant at the time, I just felt so, it's weird. I felt like I was failing her in a way because I'm like, look at me. You have a mom who can't pay bills. It's just, it sounds crazy. It sounds really extreme now. But again, when we look at who we're talking about now, when we look at these women in the mommy sector and how cavalier and nonchalant they treat being evicted. Like, do you know how big of a deal it is to be evicted? I don't think people realize just how life-changing that can be. Now, I've never been evicted. Shit. Hey, listen, I was about to lose my shit when I got sent to collections over one credit card. So I cannot imagine if I ever got an eviction notice, which I own my home, right? But before I owned a home, and when I was living in apartments and things like that before I met my husband, um, I can't imagine what it would have been like to walk up to your door and have a freaking eviction notice on it. I had a friend that got evicted, and I can remember how she reacted. Like, that girl was losing it. Like, she was in tears almost every night until she was able, to get the money from her parents and, get the situation straightened out. But she was in literal crisis mode when that happened to her. So when I see women like Chrissy, who gets evicted all of the time, women like Peach, who get exposed for getting evicted, and they're just so nonchalant, so cavalier, so very matter of fact about it, it blows my mind. In all seriousness, it blows my mind because I'm like, here you are with not one, not two, but 9 children getting evicted, getting put out of you and your children's only shelter. And you can come up here and just, whatever. We're getting evicted. We have to move. Hoo hoo. It is wild. It is wild. And that tells you what all you need to know about these women is that if they can be so cavalier about something so monumental, they just don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck, and they don't have any form of shame. But me, the person with common sense, I'ma judge you. With me, there is no we listen and we don't judge. No. We listen and we judge. And if those women had half the people in their lives who actually judge their asses from the jump, who actually shame them from the jump, I guarantee you they wouldn't have half as many issues as they do now. I have a younger cousin who reminds me so much of Chrissy. She's like on my dad's side. Um, and I talk to her every once in a while, probably every few months or so. But I keep my distance because I just can't even jive with people. Like, I'll see her at family functions and that's it. I can't even be around people like that. And she doesn't have as many kids as Chrissy, but shit, she's damn near there. She's got like 6 children, by like 4 different men. And like, her dad and her mom are so, it's like they're scared to tell her how they really feel about it. Like, they'll come to the family functions and tell us all her business. Oh, she's doing this, she's doing that. I just don't understand. Da 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 da. And I can remember my mom telling my uncle one time, like, you're telling us this. Why you not telling her that? Why don't you ever tell her how you really feel about her choices? Right? And the fact that you don't shame her, you don't judge her, right? You don't tell her that you think she's extremely stupid like you tell us. You tell us, you have no problem telling us that girl's so stupid, that girl's so slow. I don't know what happened. She needs to do better. And as mean as it sounds for a parent to call their child slow, see, sometimes people have to be mean to you in order for shit to get through your head, especially when you're hard headed. Especially when you're hard headed, especially when you're narcissistic and you don't think you do no wrong. Sometimes people have to be mean to your ass in order for you to really get it. You know what I mean? And my uncle doing all that hoopla and, him and hawing to us, but not telling her, like you said, you protected her. You're not calling, like, you need to be telling her this. I guarantee if my cousin heard half of the stuff that her father said about her and he told it to her face in a loving and firm way, child, she wouldn't be in half the situation she's been in. But because, they want to tiptoe with her and, oh, well, I mean, you need anything? And, oh, well, I'm not going to judge you because bump all of that. Nah, I'm going to judge you and I'm going to tell your ass that I think that you are crazy as hell. Oh, I get it. I tell my daughter I grew up because of her. Right, Keely. Because, a lot of times, most times, our children should be the catalyst to us changing the way that we operate, the way that we move. Um, I always tell my clients who are new mothers, like, definitely never lose yourself in motherhood, right? No one's going to say anything negative about you wanting to have a separate life outside of being a mother. That's okay. But when it comes to, especially if you had your child younger, when it comes to making better choices, better decisions, moving and operating in a different way should absolutely be your number one priority when you start having children. 100%. So yeah, a lot of our kids definitely grew us up. My daughter, like I said, I had her in my early 20s. Um, I had her right after I finished my undergraduate degree. Like, I graduated a year early with my bachelor's degree, and had her like right after that while I was working on getting in graduate school. So yeah, absolutely. I had them sell the house from under me, and that feels like an eviction. I want to be a homeowner. Oh my goodness. I'm sure that was really scary for you. Like, it couldn't have felt good. You know what I mean? And in your situation, that wasn't even your fault. That was, a whole load of different red tape and different circumstances. Um, but being a homeowner, I mean, Keely, I'll definitely say keep pushing, girl. Um, it's challenging, right? Like, the whole process, all the steps to own a home, it really is. Woo, it's a lot. They take you through the ringer, but I will say that it is 1000% worth it to go to your closing, sign on the dotted line, and when they hand you those keys, I'm telling you, I've done it twice. And each time it's such a blessing. It really is. And you'll get there, take your time with it. And it feels good more than anything to know that nobody can take it from you. I think that's the feeling. It's the feeling um, of gratification and knowing that nobody can come up there and say, oh, I'm selling this, you got to leave. Or, oh, you're behind, you got to leave. Um, there's a certain level of pride into owning your own property, or even if you don't own, right? If there's going to be anyone that listens to this and maybe being a homeowner isn't like on your list of things, that's also okay. Because guess what? There is pride in being able to even rent and pay your freaking bills on time and never have an eviction on your record. There's pride in that too. There is pride in being fully grown and living your life the way that you're supposed to live it. Not even just on your terms, but just being a decent person is what I'm getting at, right? Because everyone deserves to live their life on their own terms. But especially when you have kids, Live it on your own terms, but at least be responsible. At least be responsible. And none of the mothers in this sector can even do that. That's the upsetting part. None of them can even do that. But then they have the audacity to get up here and ask other people to buy them and their kids stuff. Mm-mm. I have no patience for it. And, some of them may hear this live and think, oh, she's judgmental and she's going to get her PhD and she thinks she's better. No, I don't think I'm better than anybody. I'm a regular person. I had a kid young. I had my daughter when I was 22. Okay. Maybe not as young as some of these moms started, but nonetheless, I was still young. But again, I was raised with shame. I was raised with judgment. And I knew that, you know what? You had a kid young. So what? You still need to get your ass up and do what you need to do. You still need to conduct yourself accordingly. You still need to go out here, get these damn degrees, make this damn money, do your thing so that your daughter, right, has a more solid foundation and can do what she's supposed to do. Just like my mother gave me a solid foundation. It's up to us as parents to figure out how long we want to keep up the shtick of, oh, I'm young, I'm out here, hey, like that's fine, that's all well and good, but learn how to do both at the same time. You can have your fun, you can have your separate identity as a mother, but handle your fucking business, is what I'm saying. Handle your shit, okay? Chrissy, you can love dick, oh, I love dick, and whatever, and on, that's fine, but at least take care of your fucking kids, ma'am. At least take care of your kids. At least put your kids first. At least take your kids somewhere. You get up here flying from pillar to post, robbing Peter to pay Paul to go see Steve, flying out here and there on whole trips, and your kids haven't been anywhere. Sis, how does that make any sense? Chrissy doesn't take those kids anywhere. I would be embarrassed if I took my daughter out and she acted impressed to see other cars and other people. I would be so damn embarrassed. I wouldn't know what to do. I would hide my damn head in the sand. But again, I was raised with judgment. Therefore, I have shame about certain things. And so therefore, I won't conduct myself a certain way and I won't deprive my daughter of certain experiences because I know better. Oh man, you did that. Thank you, boo. I appreciate it. I really, really do, Keely. You're gonna get it, girl. Like it's gonna happen. Keep steady. If that's what it is that you want, keep steady and it'll happen. Like everything, I always tell people, nothing worth having is ever easy to get. Period. Nothing worth having is ever easy to get. And when you understand that, you're okay if it takes a little bit longer, right? You're cool with it taking a little bit longer. And the people that are okay with things taking a little bit longer, yeah, okay, it may take you a couple extra years than you wanted it to, but you get it and you get it legitimately and you get it honestly. And that is what people like Chrissy are missing. Because instead of taking your time, yeah, you have 9 fucking kids, ma'am. If you ever really do actually want to own a home truthfully, it might take you a while, but that's fine. But when you're not okay with that, when you want the glitz and the glam and you want to do everything fast and you want everything to come so quick, guess what? And you don't understand morals, you don't understand hard work, you don't understand ethics, then guess what? You're going to be doing all this scamming. You got to making CPNs out here lying on residential applications. You have to do all of that type of stuff when you don't understand that sometimes slow and steady is fine. Everything worth having is not going to be easy to get. But when you think, oh no, I got to have this, I have to look a certain way, then guess what you're going to do? Even if you don't have it to do it, you're going to figure out a way. And typically the way that you figure out is dishonesty. And that's how Chrissy gets caught up in all this CPN scam shit. Saying my daughter does the best I can do. Absolutely, she does, sweetheart. And the fact that you even know that tells me all I need to know about you as a mother. The fact that you know that. So keep working toward it. Amen. Hey, Virgo doll. Hey, girl. Hey, hey. Welcome in. Thank you for coming. Oh, you know what? It is Friday, isn't it? Woof. Listen, that's what happens when you have a whole lot going on. Sometimes the days run together, and I don't even know what day of the week it is on any given time. So, oh, yeah. No problem, love. Of course, of course. See, encouragement on my channel, when I come on here, I try to be as encouraging as I can, depending on what the topic is and, how I'm feeling on that day. But yeah, I mean, that's really how I'm feeling, y'all. And that's why I came up here. Shame, judgment, all of that. Don't ever let anybody make you feel bad for judging them. Especially if you have a family member or a friend that you know is about to come to you on some bullshit with some bull, and they say, but don't judge me. No, I'm gonna judge you. I'm gonna judge you because that's the only way that you're going to learn from this is if you are judged. Me not judging you is enabling whatever bullshit that you bring into me, and I don't do that. I don't play those kinds of games, and that's what every single one of these women are missing. So, with all that being said, you all, I hope you enjoyed the live. I hope I didn't ramble on too much. Sometimes I tend to talk in circles, but again, my brain is definitely fried. I got a lot going on, but I see the finish line. We are almost finished with this journey. But for those of you who joined me this morning, thank you so much, Keely, Virgo Doll, whoever else is on. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to go ahead and hop off because I have arrived at my destination and I have got quite the day ahead of me today. But yeah, if you're just joining, welcome, welcome. And if you're we're toward the end now, you can always just, playback game. Just go back and listen. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I will talk to you all another time. Bye. Oh, and I hope y'all have a Merry Christmas too. Take care.